In this video, we're going to talk about polygonal modeling and sculpting in Maya. So we already started to talk about the basics of polygonal modeling and how we can create roundness on the objects, and also how we can create hard surfaces and hard poly modeling for architecture and interior design or creation of art-edged furnishing like bookshelves. And then we switched into a more curvy situation, but from hard poly modeling to soft poly modeling, we went through a few steps just to explain the basics again of how everything works and how we can actually manage the edges, subdivisions, and points and faces of polygonal modeling. So we started from a single cube, and then we proceed to see how we can then round the corners, create some bevels, or use the smoothing effect or the actual smooth, and how we can increase the number of polygons to have more curvy surfaces. Now, in this case, you can see also we have a lot of polygons here. And we also saw that when we use architecture and straight corners, it's better to have a little bit of filleting there, a little bit of chamfering of the corners, because the objects are gonna look more realistic. Now look at the first cube there, it doesn't have any filleting, just as the architecture and the bookshelves there in the background, and you can see the difference. So every time you need to do some hard corners or hard modeling, always think about when you're finishing, when you're giving those finishing touches, to add a little bit of filleting. Now let's move on, and I will search here for an image reference that I can use, and I want to create a character. So to show you some extra soft poly modeling tools and also some sculpting tools, which can be useful to create characters and do character design. And so you can just look for on the web for any character. Now in my case, I will quickly draw a character on my own, just to show you how you can also start from scratch. You can start with your design, your idea, and develop something in 3D. But if you don't want to do that, if you are not a good drawer, you can just get one of the here on the web. Now you should look for some front views and side views. For example, now we're gonna model a character, but if you need to model a car, for example, or another industrial design object, you should get as many references as you can. So if you have references from the top view, the side view, and the front view, you can get much closer to have the character designed well, pretty similar to what you have conceived. Now this is a quick drawing here, and I'm gonna use that in my case, which has a side view and a front view. So I'm gonna place it like like we used to do with other references. So I'm gonna place an image by going to the create menu and choosing free image plane. And well, doesn't matter the width and height, or we will fix that the size later. And especially when you do organic modeling or character modeling, you don't really need precision for that. Perhaps you need that for industrial design, if you need to create a prototype or things like that, if you need to print out something. But in all other cases, you don't need precision. You can work with a lot of approximation. So I'm gonna go to the attribute here and load up the image that I have drawn. And also another tip I want to give you: if you are a good hand drawer, or if you are a good sculptor in real life, then you will be also in digital. So if you don't have, let's say, the artistic hand, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for you, but you can exercise, you can experiment, you will become eventually better and better. Okay, so that's my image. Just like any other reference images, I will place it in a position here, and I will also rotate and then copy to have both the side and the front view at my disposal. So click and drag and hold shift to copy and place it 90 degrees. So I'm gonna use the hotbox there to rotate it exactly to 90 degree. And let's see how, well, no, we need more rotation. So I'm gonna do 270. There we go. And I'm gonna use this side here. So you can see I have a front and I have a, well, it's not yet visible. So I'm gonna move it a little bit. There you go. So I have a side view and a front view. Now it really took me like 2 minutes to create this sketch. It's just to show you that if you start with something really bad, in my opinion, or well, not so professional, well, you can create something if you want. You can create your character. So this is just basic. Okay, let's go to the grid. Well, you can decide you can work with the grid or not, actually, so depends on you. It will help you sometimes, but in this case probably we don't need that. So now I will create a cube, and just as we did before with the library, with the architecture, with the armchair, I'm gonna start with a simple cube. Just need to figure out where to start. Well, there is no let's say fixed starting point. You can decide. Now I'm gonna decrease also the opacity there of the image to see a little bit better, and I'm gonna scale this cube a little bit by just scaling like that. We don't need exact units, so I'm gonna scale it like that, and I will now try to understand where I can start. Now I can start like this. This will be my neck, or I can start from the head. I can start from the legs, doesn't matter, but now I'm gonna extend this on the height, and I'm gonna place it more centrally in the character. And just as we did earlier with other models, I want to understand before how many subdivisions I need. So let's say that I will have to then extrude the hands, sorry, the arms, and then the legs, and I need maybe 2 or 3 subdivisions for the head. So I'm trying to, again, figure out what my object will be once it will be smoothed, just like the armchair. So I'm starting here with these first 2 points. I'm gonna scale them, place it, just trying to follow the drawing there in the background. So I'm scaling this up. And again, you can use this scale technique, which I do really like, but you also have symmetry. So that's up to you. You can also use symmetry and move those points. And in this case, the symmetry will be on epsilon. So right now I'm just moving those points, trying to understand where they will be better when then I will need to extrude the hands and the arms and the hands. Okay, you can see there my little object. I'm gonna place it into position which will be in front of the front image and aligned to the side view. Also, I can select everything here and isolate them to work a little bit better. So I'm gonna go here, show, and say, show and only show selected. So I can isolate and work with those much better than if I have everything in my way. Okay, so you can see that I need to move this a little bit on the back there just to make it, there we go, inside the drawing there, and I will do the same thing that I did